The alchemy of authenticity, turning setbacks into comebacks. Have you ever felt the sting of rejection so deeply that it shook the very foundation of who you are? That moment when your dreams seem to crumble before your eyes, leaving you questioning your worth, your purpose, your very identity. Today, we're going to explore how those moments of profound loss can become the catalyst for our greatest transformations. We'll discover how embracing our authentic selves, wounds, and all can lead us to a purpose far greater than we ever imagined. I'm thrilled to share with you the inspiring journey of DeVonna Pittman, a visionary entrepreneur and community builder whose story will challenge you to see your setbacks in a completely new light. DeVonna's path from political defeat to empowering thousands of women is a testament to the power of authenticity and the impact of embracing our true selves. Imagine this. You've poured your heart and soul into a political campaign. You've spent years building credibility in your community, fighting for change, being a voice for the voiceless. You've lived the struggles you're fighting to address. This isn't just a career move, it's your life's purpose. And then you lose. For DeVonna Pittman, this wasn't just losing an election. It was a public, painful, embarrassing loss of identity. Can you feel the weight of that moment? The eyes of your community upon you, some offering sympathetic smiles, others avoiding your gaze altogether, the unspoken sense of failure hanging in the air. But here's where DeVonna's story takes an unexpected turn. In the silence of her loss, in those quiet moments when the world wasn't watching, she began to hear something. Not a loud, demanding voice, but a whisper. As she leaned into her pain, that whisper grew stronger. It was her soul speaking its truth. And where did this soul-searching lead her? To her kitchen. Picture this scene. A woman standing in her kitchen mixing ingredients, but she's not baking a cake or preparing a meal. She's creating something far more profound. She's mixing healing in a jar. DeVonna began making products for her hair and skin. This wasn't about starting a business. This was about survival. This was about self-care in its most raw and authentic form. It was about reconnecting with something ancestral, something grounding, something affirming. And that's how nature's syrup beauty was born. Not in a boardroom, not with a business plan, but in a moment of brokenness. In a kitchen with a woman who was simply trying to feel whole again. Now, let's pause for a moment and really let that sink in. How many of us, when faced with failure or rejection, retreat into ourselves? How many of us allowed the pain to consume us, to define us? But what if, instead of letting that pain destroy us, we used it as the raw material to create something beautiful? That's exactly what DeVonna did. She didn't just create a beauty brand. She birthed a brand rooted in restoration, not just for herself, but for every woman who has ever felt unseen, undervalued, or exhausted from trying to conform. You see, when DeVonna lost that election, she didn't just lose a race, she lost an illusion. And what she gained was something far more powerful, clarity of purpose. Nature's syrup beauty isn't just about hair care products. It's a statement. It's for the black woman who is tired of walking down hair care aisles filled with watered down promises. It's for the woman who needs to know that her natural beauty isn't something to be tamed. It's something to be celebrated. It's for the woman who's doing her own form of campaigning every day. To be seen, to be heard, to be loved. Now, I want you to think about your own life for a moment. Think about a time when you faced rejection. Maybe you didn't get that job you wanted. Maybe a relationship ended. Maybe a dream you had nurtured for years suddenly seemed impossible. How did you respond? Did you allow that rejection to define you? Or did you, like DeVonna, use it as a catalyst for transformation? You see, rejection isn't the end. It's the redirection. Sometimes the setback is the strategy. The closed door might be the grace that forces you to find your own lane. In that lane, when you build it with authenticity, grit, and faith, will lead you somewhere even greater than what you first imagined. This is the heart of DeVonna's story, and it's a truth that each of us needs to embrace. We live in a world that often tells us that success looks a certain way, that it follows a specific path, that it comes with particular titles or accolades. But what if true success is something entirely different? What if it's about impact rather than titles? What if it's about creating spaces where people belong rather than fighting to be accepted? What if it's about knowing your worth rather than constantly trying to prove it? This is the journey that DeVonna embarked on. And it's a journey that each of us can choose to take. Now, I want to speak directly to anyone listening who's in a low place right now. Maybe you've lost a race, like DeVonna did. Maybe you've lost a job, a dream, or a relationship. I want you to hear me clearly. You are not done. That pain you're feeling, it might be labor pains because purpose often comes through pressure. And when you rise again, notice I said when, not if, you won't just shine differently. You'll speak with the kind of authority that can only come from surviving something you thought would break you. This is the alchemy of authenticity. It's about taking the raw materials of our lives, our joys, our pains, our failures, our triumphs, and transforming them into something meaningful, something impactful, something that not only changes our own lives, but has the power to change the lives of others. DeVonna's story teaches us that our most painful moments can become our most purposeful, that our deepest wounds can become well springs of healing, not just for ourselves, but for our communities. Think about it. What if DeVonna had allowed her political loss to be the end of her story? What if she had retreated into shame or bitterness? She would have missed out on the incredible impact she's now making through nature's syrup beauty. But she didn't. Instead, she leaned into her pain. She allowed it to guide her toward her true purpose. And in doing so, she didn't just create a beauty brand. She created a movement that's empowering black women to embrace their natural beauty, a movement that's challenging industry norms and redefining what beauty means. This is the power of authenticity. This is the impact of embracing our true selves, wounds and all. Now, I want to challenge each of you listening today. What part of yourself have you been hiding? What pain have you been trying to avoid? What rejection have you allowed to define you? I want you to consider, just for a moment, what might happen if you embrace that part of yourself, if you allowed that pain to guide you, if you use that rejection as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. You see, we often think that our strength lies in our successes. But what if our true power lies in how we handle our failures? What if our most impactful moments come not from our victories, but from how we rise after we fall? DeVonna's story reminds us that our setbacks don't have to be the end of our story. They can be the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter filled with purpose, authenticity, and impact. So here's my challenge to you. Embrace your story, all of it, the triumphs and the failures, the joys and the pains, because it's in the fullness of your story that you'll find your true purpose. Don't be afraid of your wounds. They may be the very thing that allows you to connect deeply with others. Don't shy away from your failures. They may be the lessons you need to create something truly meaningful. Remember, you're not defined by your worst day. You are not limited by your biggest failure. You are a constantly evolving story with the power to write new chapters at any moment. So what will your next chapter be? Will you allow rejection to be your redirection? Will you let your setbacks become your setup for something greater? The choice is yours. But know this, you have within you the power to transform your pain into purpose. You have the ability to turn your wounds into wisdom. You have the capacity to use your unique story to make a profound impact on the world around you. Just like DeVonna did when she turned her political loss into a mission to empower and celebrate black women's beauty. Just like she did when she transformed her kitchen experiments into a thriving business that's changing lives. You see, DeVonna's story isn't just about hair care or beauty products. It's about the beauty of authenticity. It's about the power of embracing who we truly are. It's about the impact we can have when we align our actions with our deepest truths. And that's the invitation I want to leave you with today. An invitation to embrace your full story. An invitation to see your setbacks not as endpoints, but as starting lines. An invitation to use your unique experiences, even the painful ones, as the raw material for creating something beautiful and impactful. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't need more people who have it all figured out. The world needs more people who are willing to be real, to be vulnerable, to share their struggles and their triumphs, to use their stories to light the way for others. That's what DeVonna did. And that's what each of us has the power to do. So, as we wrap up today, I want you to ask yourself, what's the story you've been afraid to tell? What's the pain you've been trying to hide? What's the rejection you've allowed to hold you back? Now, imagine what might happen if you embrace that story, if you allow that pain to guide you towards your purpose, if you use that rejection as a catalyst for your greatest work yet. That's the power of authenticity. That's the impact of embracing our true selves. And that's the legacy we can leave when we choose to turn our setbacks into comebacks, our wounds into wisdom, and our rejections into redirections. Remember, you are not done. Your story is still being written, and the most powerful chapters may be the ones you haven't written yet. So go forth, be authentic, be vulnerable, be you, because that's where your true power lies. That's where your greatest impact will come from. And that's how you'll create a legacy that truly matters. As we conclude this talk, I want to leave you with a call to action, a challenge that goes beyond mere words and demands real change in how we view ourselves and our experiences. First, I challenge you to embrace your failures, not just accept them, but truly embrace them. Write down your biggest setback, the one that still makes you wince when you think about it. Now, spend some time reflecting on how that failure has shaped you. What strengths did it reveal? What lessons did it teach? How has it prepared you for future challenges? Second, I dare you to share your story. Find someone you trust, a friend, a family member, a mentor, and share the story of your biggest setback and how you're working to transform it into a comeback. Be vulnerable, be honest. Let them see the real you, scars and all. Third, take action inspired by your setback. What's one small step you can take today to turn your pain into purpose? Maybe it's reaching out to someone who's going through a similar struggle. Maybe it's starting that project you've been putting off out of fear. Whatever it is, do it today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. Fourth, commit to authenticity. Make a pledge to yourself right now that you'll stop hiding the parts of yourself you think are unacceptable. Start showing up as your full, authentic self in all areas of your life. It might be scary at first, but I promise you it's liberating. Finally, I challenge you to redefine success for yourself. Take some time to really think about what success means to you, not what society says it should be, not what your parents or friends or colleagues think it should be. What does success look like for you when you're being true to yourself? Remember, the world doesn't just need your success, it needs your story. It needs your authenticity. It needs the wisdom that only comes from embracing every part of your journey, the triumphs and the failures. So, will you accept this challenge? Will you commit to turning your setbacks into comebacks? Will you dare to be authentically, unapologetically you? The choice is yours, but I believe in you. I believe in the power of your story. And I believe that when you embrace your authentic self, you have the power to change not just your own life, but the lives of countless others. Thank you.